It's time for a tour of 13 shelves of war games, card games, board games, etc. These are games that have been in the household since before I was born. They're my dad's collection, and I'm going to take a tour of his wargaming room. So, here we go. Show off a few of the games. First up is a game in progress he's actually playing right now. Stalingrad 42. He's playing as the Germans. First, shelf number 1. We have Ardennes 44, Holland 44, and there's Stalingrad 42. And then we've got the Dark Sands, War in North Africa. And we've got the Dark Valley, the Dark Summer, Genesis, Here I Stand, Wars of the Reformation, 30 Years' War, Space Empires, At Any Cost, Fighting Formations, Battle for Kharkov, and then the Peloponnesian War. This is all GMT games on this shelf, so let's move on to the next one. This shelf here is all Compass games. The Korean War, the Battle for Germany, the Fall of the Third Reich, Enemy Action Ardennes, Enemy Action Kharkov, the Fulda Gap. When my dad got this game, he had an empty spot on this shelf, and I said, well, now the Fulda Gap can fill the gap on your shelf. So, yeah, dad jokes. Korea, Fire and Ice, Vietnam, Rumor of War, Battle Hymn Volume 1, Gettysburg Pea Ridge, Guam, Return to Glory, Combat! Volume 1, Combat! Volume 2. Compass Games also currently has a Kickstarter for a game called Burning Banners that you could check out. It's a fantasy, hex-based, hand-drawn map, different races and stuff. It's ongoing right now, and today is June 22nd, 2023, I believe. Yeah, it's 22nd. 22nd or 23rd. Either way, it's live right now. Anyway, next shelf. Alright, this next shelf is composed of Days of Wonder, Fantasy Flight, Dragon Lords, and Wizards of the Coast. We've got Memoir 44, Battle Lore, Runebound, Quest for the Dragon Lords. I haven't ever seen this game before, but it looks pretty interesting. So I'm not sure if the company is Dragon Lords, or if it's Hexagonal, or Madman's Magic, or whatever that is. So it's one worth checking into, I'm sure. Then we've got Risk 2210 AD and Risk Godstorm. And we've got, looks like, some expansions for Memoir 44 Eastern Front and Memoir 44 Pacific Theater. Alright, this next shelf is Decision Games and Milton Bradley. I don't quite know how to pronounce this. I believe it's Wacht am Rhein. The Battle of the Bulge. This game is gigantic. My dad showed me the inside, and there's so much to it. I really want to try it out. And we've got Fortress America with Saddam Hussein. And then samurai swords. And Axis and Allies. Okay, this next shelf is Compass Games, Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, and I'm just going to assume it's APBA, not APBA, maybe. But there's APBA Golf, APBA Golf. I'm going to get holding one. Got Stellar Horizons, which is a possible solitaire game. Looks like quite a bit to it. Interesting title. I'm interested in all of these games, obviously. But, yeah, it's pretty neat. And we have an updated History of the World, which the old one is on another shelf. Then we've got Dungeons & Dragons Conquest of Nerath. Not quite sure what type of game this one is. Haven't seen it before, but ooh. Cool. Alright, this next shelf looks like it's Fantasy Flight Games, GMT, Avalanche Press, Milton Bradley, Parker Brothers, and then Avalon Hill. First off is an expansion for APBA Golf or APBA Golf. Looks like some alternate courses. Then we've got Tide of Iron, which I have always wanted to play, but I don't get access to these games that often. But this one looks so cool. Love miniatures, love hex-based combat, love war games. My dad's got good taste. Then we've got Stratego, or Stratigo, or Stratego. I'm not quite sure. It's pronounced differently everywhere, but I've always called it Stratego. I mean, come on, this game's a classic. Doesn't even need a back. That's clean. Alright. Calendar. Then we've got, everybody's favorite, Monopoly. Beep, 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 beep. But, best piece in the game right there. Then, as I said earlier, we would revisit History of the World. I believe this is the original one, the first one, but this is back when Avalon Hill had it, rather than just Hasbro, which Avalon Hill is part of Hasbro now. And also on this shelf, got Vietnam 1965 to 1975. Want some? Get some! And then we've got Guadalcanal Semper Fi series. Platoon level combat in World War II. Get in that jungle and clear 'em out! Then I'm just going to call this one Eagles of the Empire Battles in the Age of Napoleon because Preussisch Eylau February. So, yeah, Eagles of the Empire, 2 difficult words, February 1807. Alright, in this next shelf we've got PRP, Academy Games, Avalon Hill, Fantasy Flight, Compass, and GMT. So we'll start with Across the Pacific. Usually my dad prefers ground combat, tanks, infantry, and other vehicles and stuff, so it's interesting to see an air-heavy game. I also forgot there's a Simulations Publications Incorporated game on here. 2 of them. So first off, we'll start with the Academy Games Conflict of Heroes, Awakening the Bear. Then we've got Conflict of Heroes, Guadalcanal. Another sea-based game. Flat Top, Battle of Carriers in the Pacific, 1942. Avalon Hill Game Company. Then we've got another Fulda Gap, the First Battle of the Next War. Sorcerer, the Game of Magical Conflict, which is just a tray on here, so I don't really have much to show off. Let's take a look inside. Huh. Interesting. Oh, it's covered. Well, we're not going to look that deep. Looking at the contents and how it plays is what useful things like Google searches are for. Anyway, we've also got the Fantasy Flight game, The Stars of Timuran, Battle Mist. You summoned me. But, looks like hexes, tokens, cards, everything to have fun. Then there's this game, which my dad had set up for years, because they would take a few turns every couple weeks or whatever. The Siege of Jerusalem. Another gigantic game. Just spend an afternoon with it or so, or obviously years. Then we've got Bar Lev, the 1973 Arab-Israeli War. Then we've got Salerno 43, another GMT game. Which, see, I flip over boxes and see stuff like this, and it's exciting. Just cool. Which I believe I've said now like over 10 times. Cool, cool. Cool beans. This next shelf we've got WizKids, Wizards of the Coast, Eagle Games, and it looks like Fundamental Games. So we'll start off with Temple of Elemental Evil board game for Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeon delving, miniatures, monsters. And even though this is not, it's game tokens and dice, not cigars. Then we've got the Age of Mythology board game. Loved playing this one growing up. Just monsters and technology advancing, research. Classic game to me. Then we've got the Fundamental Games, Legend of Novus. This one I don't know. I've never flipped and looked at this one, but immediately has my interest. Like I've said before, all these games have my interest, but some of them stand out as ones I would really, really like to play. Okay, we've got Simulations Publications Incorporated. I'll probably mispronounce this one, but Bento Nuovo Games. And then Avalanche Press. We start off with Objective Moscow, The Death of Soviet Communism. Then we've got Stalingrad Inferno. And then we have 1967, Sword of Israel, The 6-Day War. Alright, next shelf we've got Decision Games, which is interesting. I don't know if it is a rebranded Strategic Publications Incorporated, but it looks exactly like it to me. So we've got also Excalibur Games, and then we've got Victory Games and Compass Games. So start off with Napoleon's Last Battles. A Mighty Fortress. I believe that is Charles Martel, nicknamed the Hammer. And we've got to the green fields and beyond. Which, World War I is not an area of my dad's major interest either. He usually goes for World War II, so that's neat to see. Battle for Stalingrad. As you can see, Stalingrad is a popular subject among games. Ancient Conquest. Looks like Babylon and the Hittites. Ancient Assyria and Egypt. Battle for Germany, the destruction of the Reich. Then we've got D-Day at Iwo Jima, solitaire game. Got D-Day at Tarawa. Looks like another solitaire game. Looks like these Decision D-Day series games are solitaire, because here's another one. D-Day at Omaha Beach. Got Struggle for the Galactic Empire, also a solitaire game. So it looks like Decision specializes in solitaire games. Could be wrong. Could just be my dad bought a lot of solitaire games. Alright, then we've got Hell's Highway, Operation Market Garden. Then we've got Open Fire, solitaire tank combat in World War II. Tokyo Express, the Guadalcanal Naval Campaign, 1942. Then Compass Games, American Tank Ace, a solitaire game, which I love tanks. Neat. Alright, next shelf we've got Lock and Load Publishing, MMP, Columbia Games, Avalon Hill, Task Force Games, Academy Games, NES or NES. And we've got FASA, I believe, FASA Corporation, and Tiny Battle. So we'll start off with Heroes of the Colosseum, which he showed me this game a little bit. Gladiator combat is fun. Which, if you like gladiator combat, you should also check out the card game Fort Glory by Spielcraft Games. That's one that I have. Pretty fun game. Most Dangerous Time, Japan and Chaos, 1570 to 1584. Got Warriors of Japan, A Country Aflame. Iron Curtain, Central Europe. Rostov 41, Race to the Dawn. Like, not a Mafia Dawn, I'm guessing. A Victory Denied. We've got Space Infantry Resurgence. Haven't seen this one yet either. But, as usual, the hallmarks of fun-looking game. Then we've got Wizard Kings, which is like a token-based game. Variable maps, raise your army, ready your spells, march to victory. Have fun! And watch out for this fire offering monkey demon. Then come on, Starship Troopers. A classic. The only good bug is a dead bug. Send in Rico's Roughnecks. East Wind Rain, the War in the Pacific. Looks like a Conflict of Heroes Solitaire expansion, Eastern Front. Smoke a cigarette in the icy wilderness, alone. If he's even smoking, he could just be dying. The Jaws of Victory. Oh, and then this one. I have played this one and I love it. Battletech. Ooh. Which, okay, I'm gonna open this one. So first off, we got the map, which, come on, cool. Which, also, Heroscape terrain works well with Battletech, but check it out. Come on. These are sweet. don't remember many of their names. I know Marauder is this one, and I know he always fell apart. But just cool. Oh, come on. Rookie. Oh, I don't remember their names. Wasp. Bellar? Rifleman or something. Yeah, Battletech fans are like, oh, you idiot. Yeah, but I've only played this when I was like 6 or 7. Come on. Played it once a few years ago, actually playing it, not just setting up robots and be like, prepare, I got you. I'm sorry. Not robots, mechs. And then we continue with one of the coolest board games that I know of, Titan from Avalon Hill. Fantastic game. Have never played any other game like it. You move around and summon monsters based on these regions here. The arrows pointing which directions you can go, which directions are blocked off, which directions are one way, etc. Everybody's got face down stacks of monsters. Object of the game is to kill all the other players' titans. Just a cool game. Really cool. And if you have it, there was an expansion that the two creators of the game actually worked on, and it was never published. However, on Board Game Geek, one of their friends has released it posthumously for them with the approval of, I believe it's one of the creators' daughters. So you can check that out on the files section on Board Game Geek. It's got a whole bunch more monsters and spells and other things. But moving on, we've got D-Day and Beyond. This is Tiny Battle, which is, my dad summed it up by saying it's a game like this, but on a much smaller scale, much quicker. Okay, now we've got Victory Games, Compass Games. Oh, MMP is Multiman Publishing. Okay, and then we've got Ares as another game. We got Battle Hymn, another solitaire game. Then we've got Heights of Courage, the Battle of Golan Heights. Storm over Jerusalem. And we've got On to Paris. I mean, they're probably not. Well, maybe they are French. Oh. And then we've got War of the Ring. This is, I believe, the second edition. Yep, right there. It's probably the second edition. Right there in bold. But miniatures. The Nazgul. I believe the whole fellowship is there. Yeah, and then we've got Orcs. Urukai. And I think the Nazgul are in there. Not quite sure. But on to our final shelf here, which is Avalon Hill. Victory Games. All the way across, it looks like. So we've got Panzer Blitz, which you can see here, which side was facing like the sunlight and stuff as it sat on shelves, because it is faded. And we've got Panzer Leader, which I used to set these games up as a kid, just have the map and the tank tokens and no actual rules except move them around, and that was a bit it. The Arab-Israeli Wars, and yes, I just said that was a bit it, which makes no sense. Tank battles. Then we've got Tobruk, which my dad says plays a lot like a miniatures game would, because I believe everything is an individual unit. But they're cardboard chits. Probably going to pronounce this one wrong, but Raid on Saint Nazaire, I think. Which he says is a solitaire game that you start off and you land your ships and then you roll to see which ones are on fire, destroyed, or whatever, and you have to go get these objectives. Well, the board game controls Germans that move throughout the different circles to try and stop you. And we've got Patton's Best. And then we've got here Dragon Pass, another fantasy miniatures game. Not miniatures, fantasy hex-based cardboard chits. But come on, which I've said like a bunch of times as well. Come on! It's neat. It's just cool stuff. Carrier, Southwest Pacific Campaign. Solitaire game Ambush. With battle modules. Leatherneck. Duh! Okay, then we got Purple Heart. Suck on this one! And then we've got Move Out. Come on, boys! We gonna get home and eat dinner. I don't know. And we've got B-17, Queen of the Skies. And finally, another little cool game, Feudal, which is kind of like, I don't know, kind of like chess. But you set up your boards, and you've got these little castles, which oddly are not represent. Oh, there we go. And if someone gets a unit out of the courtyard of the castle and into the actual castle part, it's victory. Or if they slay all the royalty, of which there's dukes and princes, kings. Really neat game. Up to 6 people can play it at once, I believe. But yeah, this is my dad's game shelf. Lots of really neat games. I'll probably do a video like this for my games. This isn't everything he has. He's got some card games and stuff in old boxes. Next, we're going to take a look at my mom's game shelf, which is going to sound weird, but it literally smells like Heroscape in this room. If you have a lot of Heroscape, you know that smell of the terrain and the figures and stuff. Maybe it's just because I'm really excited that it's coming back. I don't know. But let's continue. Alright, this shelf we've got unknown game publisher, but I believe it's Cribbage. And we've got International Games. And we've got Rather Dashing, International Games Incorporated, John N. Hansen Company. And then we've got also Seltho and Ryder, I don't know. And then we've got the Games Gang Limited, Upper Deck. We've got, it's like Golden Games, Hasbro Gaming, the Leisure Game Company from Avalon Hill, Horn Abbott, Spin Master, Endless Games, and Pressman. I believe that's all the companies. We can start off with the games. Oh yeah, and Concerned Ape. So we'll start off down here. Well, I guess I missed some. Cardinal as well. Got Mexican Train Dominoes. Password. Stardew Valley, the board game. Parcheesi, the classic game of India. It is a game of skill as well as chance. Then we've got 221B Baker Street. Elementary, my dear Watson. And we've got Parcheesi, the Royal Game of India Deluxe Edition. Oh, is this a game? There's probably other games. This looks like a really old Yahtzee. Dirt Torpedo? Oh, that's a cigar box. It's like a weird game. We've got Boulder Dash. Got a Scrabble. Got probably my favorite board game. Legendary, a Marvel deck building game. Got Hugger Mugger. And then another game that I really love, Scattergories. And we've got Skip Bo, Deluxe Uno, America's family card game sensation, Element, Faxon 5, Sequence, which is another company that I didn't name off, probably. Jack's Limited. Yeah. We're having fun, aren't we, kids? You said you guys would play games with me. We've got the logo board game, which I wonder how many of these logos are either outdated or non-existent now. I mean, not too many companies tend to stay around. Trivial Pursuit, Master Game, Genesis Edition. Man, these games are upside down. Rummikub. Very creepy Yahtzee right here. Play Yahtzee with the professor. Alright. And then Kismet. It is fate. That was my mom and dad's board game collections. I guess the real purpose of that was just to show off some different titles if you wanted something to look up, or maybe looking for something in another line of games you like, because clearly World War II tactical strategy war games and stuff are abundant in this game collection, but there's a lot of different genres, different titles, and different ways to play. So hope you enjoyed maybe getting some ideas for something to look for, or just maybe taking a stroll down board game memory lane and seeing some titles you might not have remembered, but now you do.